Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Attaboy. All of our guests today brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca, as the World Cup of Soccer continues in Qatar. We're joined by our World Cup reporter, Paul Dolan. Paul, thanks for doing this. How are you, sir?
I'm great, guys. How y'all doing?
Good. You're in Seattle for the Habs and Kraken, were you? 4-2 Habs victory?
I was. It's the first time I was at Climate Pledge Arena, and
Wow.
it was a good experience. Yeah. Good to see the right team win that game, although, seeing Shane Wright score his first goal, I guess that's memorable as well. And, it was against his old, the team that many thought he'd get picked by. No.
Yeah. Did you have to take a mortgage out to go to that game? Because we hear it's expensive down there. Not that it's inexpensive here.
Well, I'm going to tell you who got me the ticket. Mm-hmm. It was Jeff Onger.
Wow. Okay.
Who does the money management for Kent Hughes. And so there was a connection there.
Oh, Kent Hughes is the GM of the Habs.
He is, yeah.
Wow.
And Jeff also does the management for Jared McCann of the Kraken. And he was able to get us a couple of seats in the Kraken section, courtesy of Shane Wright.
Wow.
Man, you got connections.
Yeah. Paul, after this interview, can you hang around? I want to talk to you in the break about going to a Kraken game. Jeff Onger, of course, from Coquitlam, former Canadian international. Morocco and Croatia are going through. They're into the round of 8, Dolly. Does that make what Canada was up to in round 1, even though they went 0-3, does it make it look better?
I think so, a little bit. I think what it does show is how strong that group was and how strong Morocco in particular is. Croatia we know about, although still I think some people consider them a little bit of I don't want to say a world power that isn't a world power yet, because they are a strong team that was in the finals the last time. But obviously Morocco has surprised a lot of people, even though I guess they shouldn't really. They were one of the top teams in Africa. That's a very tough confederation to get out of in World Cup qualifying. And their defense is so incredibly strong that it can frustrate even the best of teams like Spain that literally had no answer as to how to get through it. I was actually a little disappointed in Spain, to be honest, but I think a lot of the credit goes to Morocco. So, yeah, I think it looks a little better on Canada to realize it was always going to be difficult, and they actually scored on Morocco, the only team that's done so in 4 games so far.
A good point. Now, speaking of Spain, as anybody from that country will tell you, Paul, stopping penalty kicks at the highest level of soccer doesn't seem as impossible as it used to be. Have I got that right? And if so, how come?
It's strange, isn't it, that I think when they implemented the law for goalkeepers not to be able to move at all on the line, and we're much more stringent with it, it's almost as if that's played into the favor of goalkeepers now, because they're able to hold the line a little bit more. Mm-hmm. They don't go early, which is a lot of what penalty kick takers want the goalkeeper to do, is to lay down early so they can pick the other side. Mm. They're having to hold their position. I don't know if that's entirely the reason behind it, but also the stress of playing in a World Cup. The funny part about Spain, though, of course, was that they had gone out in penalties against Russia in 2018. Then they went out on penalties against Italy in the Euros last year. And so the manager, Luis Enrique, said, all of you, homework, 1,000 penalties each before you arrive at this World Cup. They took 3 yesterday. They missed all 3. So it's something that they had prepared for, but in the moment, maybe the pressure, because they were the favored team, got too much to them. And the goalkeeper, of course, too, the Montreal-born goalkeeper, I might add, Yassine Bono for Morocco, made a couple of good saves as well.
Okay, Paul, let's look ahead to some of the games this weekend. England-France is the big one for me. Harry Kane's only got 1 goal, but England's got 8 different players who have scored. So that depth is unbelievable for them. But how do you see that game shaping up?
No, you make a good point about how they've spread it around, because that's going to be, I think, the key for any team to win this World Cup is going to be their depth. And I think you saw it yesterday with Portugal as well. No Cristiano Ronaldo, who steps up. Young 21-year-old kid. Ramos scores a hat trick. We've seen it with Brazil. No Neymar. That team continues to roll. And we've seen it with France, with all the players that they have missed. And Karim Benzema, the Golden Ball winner, not at the tournament for France yet. There is talk that he possibly could come back at some point. But in any case, you see that in order to win a World Cup, it's going to take depth. That's what England has right now. They're not solely relying on a Harry Kane. Fellas like Jordan Henderson pop up to score goals. Jude Bellingham is having a terrific tournament. Phil Foden is getting starting time now. Raheem Sterling started out well, and of course he's gone now. I don't know if he'll be back after there was a home invasion, I think, or a burglary at his home.
Yeah.
So he had to go back home. But everyone is stepping up within that squad that I would say, you know, they are one of the favorites. However, they're playing against France in the next game in a quarterfinal matchup. That is, I think, you know, kind of the juiciest one of them all so far in the quarterfinals anyway. And I think maybe the team that does win that game goes on to win it all.
All right, Netherlands and Argentina. Messi no longer at his peak, but he's already got 3 goals so far. So how's that one shaping up for you?
Well, you say not at his peak, and yes, for age, 35.
35.
But he continues, maybe you're right, 34. In any case, he's older, but still incredibly effective. He single-handedly changed the tone of the game in the game against Australia. You know, there was a little bit of a pushing match. First 25 minutes, nothing happened. And then there was a bit of a pushing match with B-Hitch on the side. And that kind of wound Messi up, I thought. You know, he got right into the game from there, whipped in a great corner kick, picked up a loose ball, smashed it home, and he was flying in the second half. So when you say not at his prime, truthfully, you'd think at that age he'd start to be waning, I guess, or tailing off. But I think he is a linchpin to the Argentine hope. So we knew that coming in. The pressure's on him, speaking about pressure, but I feel that he thrives under that. He finally has a cup under his name, the Copa America, in the last time that they played Brazil. And now he's into the quarterfinals with a team and I think an opposition in Netherlands that they have a good chance of beating.
Back to Ronaldo, is he being treated fairly, did you feel, Paul, given his status? I know he's 37 years old.
I think he's being treated fairly. I love the storyline. I think it's terrific. You know, Fernando Santos didn't back down. Generally, a manager who has been with Cristiano Ronaldo a long time, and Cristiano Ronaldo has done a lot of good things for Portugal. Obviously, they've won a European Championship as well. But for him to be as public as he was, the manager, about saying that he was not happy with the way that Ronaldo reacted after being pulled off in a game, by the way, that didn't really matter for Portugal. In the end, you know, they were up in that game when he came off, and then they ended up losing. But I think, you know, it's petulant of him. That's kind of typical Ronaldo. But the manager put him in his place, and I think that group effort that they put, obviously it's 6-1. Ronaldo did come on, didn't score amongst the other scorers, but it's 6-1. That's kind of making a statement, I think, as a team.
Yeah, especially when his replacement, as you mentioned, Ramos gets the three goals. By the way, we just went on and on a couple of segments ago about Aaron Judge, $300 million, multi-year contract. Ronaldo, $200 million a year in Saudi Arabia. What's the quality of that league like?
Sebastian Giovinco went there. He was tempted by the money as well. It's hard to turn down 200 million. I think it's euros as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's just a ridiculous number. Obviously, you don't go there for the football. There are some very good players, as I mentioned. You know, 1 or 2 have gone there kind of at the tail end of their career. I think 1 or 2 of the Spanish team players from 2010. I can't remember off the top of my head. But there have been other star players that have gone to the Saudi League. And obviously, it's all about the money. You know, you're really being pushed there. I would say that, once it's a retirement league. It's that's about the best I could put it.
I wish broadcasting was like that. Near the end of your career, somebody just pays you a whole. Not that we're being treated fairly by Czech, but wouldn't that be nice? And not that we're at the end of our careers either. Dolan, thanks for this. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you in a bit.
All right. Look forward to it. Take care, guys.